I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Dance Influence with Dana Alexa. I am your host, Dana Alexa, and I am here, like always, with my beautiful co-host, Danielle Rose.
Hey.
And our guest today is my very good friend, Mr. Hamilton Evans. Welcome, Hammy.
Hey.
If you guys don't know Hamilton, you should, because he is one of the top teachers at the hottest studio here in LA, Millennium Dance Complex, and he also teaches at Playground. And aside from teaching his weekly packed, usually sold out classes here in LA, being a mentor and teacher to millions of people around the world, he also choreographs for TV shows like America's Got Talent and The Masked Singer, and for artists as well. And on top of that, he's managed to amass a huge social media following with over 600,000 subscribers on YouTube and 211,000 followers on Instagram. So we're very happy to have you, Hammy. And he's also one of my best friends.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, it's very casual. As you guys can see, we are all still in quarantine and all still healthy, just doing our part in our social isolation. Yeah, we're all in our own home, which is why Hammy could be all on his bed and we could do things very casually. Exciting.
Yeah.
So one thing we've been talking about a bit, everybody knows coronavirus is a big deal right now and kind of ravaging the whole planet. But we've kind of been talking about it a bit more in terms of like the microcosm of the dance community and how it's affecting the dance industry and the dance community. So we talked a bit about that, but let's talk a little bit more specifically, Hammy, about how are you staying connected with the dance community during this time?
I mean, obviously, sorry, I'm just adjusting the volume. Obviously, for us, it's the toughest because we can't, we're surrounded by people all day long and a lot of people, and we can't do that, obviously. So the adjustment is hard at first. But in terms of me staying connected, I did a live dance class on Instagram last week, which was super fun. And although it wasn't like normal, made me feel somewhat normal. And very out of breath because I hadn't danced in a week.
No, we're all going to be so out of shape.
Yep. But
have you found that challenging to like go from being with a whole classroom of people to then doing it on live and not really having that interaction? Or are you able to like figure it out? Like what's the challengingest part about that?
I think the most challenging part is being 10 times more clear in your instruction, obviously, because, there's no one in front of you to start with. And also, I usually have 2 assistants next to me. So people can follow them if they can't see me or can't see me from the right angle and stuff like that. So, and in terms of energy, because we always, thrive from energy in the room. So that's the hard part. But I kind of didn't find it that difficult. I found it more difficult in terms of stamina for myself because I didn't have assistants. And obviously I was explaining stuff all the time as well as dancing and nonstop.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, when you're teaching, we read the class, right? So we look at the class. When do they look confused? I know you guys don't think so, but your faces tell us a lot. So we can
everything.
Tell when you need it again or when you weren't clear. But when you don't have that feedback from the class, you're kind of just like, okay, hope we're good.
Yeah, you can't be like, any questions? Because it's going to take up 5 minutes going back.
Yeah, so definitely, I think that's definitely a challenge. But yeah, I also think people don't realize, when we have a full classroom, we can pace ourselves with like letting the class run the piece and we can catch our breath.
In groups, yeah.
You're alone, you're like, okay, I'm dancing for a whole hour just by myself talking the whole time. It's crazy, Sam, and I noticed that from when I started shooting tutorials of my stuff, and I know you shoot tutorials of your stuff as well.
Yeah.
I'm putting out there so much. It's a great resource, guys. Some of us have been putting tutorials on the internet for years. Like, there's a back inventory of dance videos and tutorials that you can learn from Hamilton and from me and from so many other teachers. Like, if you miss a live stream, use that resource. That's why we put those things out there for you guys.
Yeah.
So use them.
I'm also glad it has, because not that many people take time to do tutorials. So, I mean, we have done them for years anyway, but not a lot of people see like the pro in it. But now, on the plus side of this happening, if there is any kind of plus side, there is maybe like hundreds of teachers with free tutorials online, which I think is actually great, because like, you know, virus or no virus, like someone in Argentina may not be able to afford to come here regardless, you know?
Exactly.
Someone somewhere else. So a curse and a blessing in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something we talked about a little bit last week, is that, you know, a lot of people in the industry have been a little bit hands off with social media, or, you know, maybe even downright just judgmental about it. And so many of us that have been on that side of social media for a long time are saying, what you can't deny about it, and what we're seeing now so much, is that it creates a global community and allows your reach to be so much farther than studio walls can let you reach. And I think that people that are diving into it now are starting to really understand that, and why we've been so, you know, so big on it all this time. So it's good. It's really nice to see.
And
do you guys think that each of you will have your own live classes like this? Do you think this is opening up your kind of like vision to see maybe doing this more often, like as actual teachers, like teaching online classes now? Or what do you think?
Definitely. I definitely consider doing it like quarantine or not quarantine, even just especially producing more tutorials also that can live somewhere, for sure.
Yeah. No, I think it has for me. I've literally been thinking about it a lot, how we can make class experiences more immersive and allow more people in the room.
Yeah.
And I really don't know why, with all the technology we have, that would be a challenge.
We're not doing it already. Because like I touched based on earlier, there's someone who can't afford to come, or someone who's just like, oh, I want to take, you know, Dana's class and Hamilton's class, but it looks crazy and I'm too scared. So, you know, like, it's a good way to try it first. Or like, if you're not in the country or you can't afford to come, like, so many reasons.
I think it's like anything, it will need to be balanced, because obviously what makes LA the epicenter that it is that we have things here that you can access from just anywhere. So it does keep things exclusive and tight and important, you know, important in our community, things that we, you know, have to protect. I definitely think it can't be every class. It can't be. Some of the things you just have to be here, and you have to make the leap to come to experience. And so I think we can find a way to integrate it more. Right now, I don't think we're doing it at all. Yeah, so I think that's a really good way to start talking about what Hamilton did. And if you can hear, Hamilton has a cute little accent because he's from the UK. So tell us about that. Tell us about your transition from, how did you start working in London first? What were you doing there before you moved?
So you want it from the
Take it from the
real
top.
stuff, from the very top?
Born, he started to walk, and then what happened?
So when I was like, well, since up to like 12, my mum's watching, so she'll know all this anyway.
My mom.
Hey, Mom. I used to like find hobbies and then be bored with them within like a week. Like I used to be like, yeah, I want to be a professional golfer. I want to, you know, like be a swimmer. I still can't swim properly. But anything like that, anything active, I used to like, yeah, I want to be professional at that. And then I'd like, yeah, please, I want some golf clubs. I want some golf clubs. My mum would buy me some golf clubs. And I think I went to the driving range with my stepdad like twice. And then I was like, yeah, I'm over it. So that's basically was like 4 years of my life of hobbies like thrown in and out, and a lot of money spent. So imagine
the game.
The game. They used to have it at like, you know, like the Pins bowling alley and stuff in the arcade area, and I used to just like play it all the time. I used to have it like at the point where I would know. Well, I had it on the PlayStation as well, but then I would basically go and show off at the arcade. And I was at the point where I was like, knew every track in advance, like off by heart. And like,
so you weren't even playing, you were doing a show.
No, I was just like turning around to the back, handstands, everything. I used to have like 50 people surrounding the machine.
I didn't even know that. I did not know
Yeah.
about you.
That's so
That's
funny.
awesome.
So then after I actually like enjoyed that for longer than 2 weeks, my mum was like, maybe we should send him to dance classes. And then that's how I started dance lessons when I was like 12 or 13, I think.
Okay, so fast forward, you actually get good at real dancing and not just PDR. And
And
what
then
were you doing in London? Were you working professionally?
so then before I moved to London, so in the UK, we have a thing called like musical theatre college or performing arts college. There's not a lot here, but it's a big thing in the UK. So then at 16, I moved to like Bedford area, which is Greater London, Greater London, and studied musical theatre for 3 years there, and then graduated there at 19 and moved straight to London.
And
That's
then,
how I ended up in London.
okay. And then what did you do there? How long were you in London before you moved to LA?
I was 5 years till I was 24.
It's about the
And I always taught, even when I was 19, that December, so I graduated in July, and that December I started teaching beginner intermediate and then fell into pro level and stuff like that. And then obviously the work and dance jobs came with that and agencies.
So what was the moment that you were like, okay, I've done so much here in London and I love it, but I want to go to LA, to California? Like, what started that?
I visited California in 2010 for like 7 weeks, for a big chunk of time, and really liked it then, and then didn't go back till a couple of years later when I just had 2 weeks off and was on a break. When I came back, an agency had an audition while I was here, and I was like, oh, just go for fun, and then they ended up asking to bring me in for a meeting and offered to sign me and stuff. So I was like, maybe this is some sort of sign. So yeah, then I went home and did my visa work and came. But I think the main reason why I wanted to move was probably because I felt in the last 6 months in London, I felt like a bit unchallenged and a bit comfortable and just needed change.
So how hard was it to get your visa? Because I know a lot of kids, I know when we teach at Millennium Dance Complex, for those of you who don't know, a lot of the students that come through the doors are international, and they share this dream that Hamilton had of coming from whatever country or city they live in to the US, in LA or in New York. And their big question for me always is like, what do I do? What are the steps? So I think we have an expert here now to tell us, what did you do? Like, how did this happen technically? With getting
Technically.
The technical side.
I did mine 6 years ago now, 6.5 years ago. I can't believe I've been here 6.5 years. And it was still hard, but I think it was a bit easier then, than it is now. I had to gather like recommendation letters from like top instructors or choreographers or like agencies and stuff like that. So like Brian Freeman did one for me. The studios at home did one for me. I did find it a bit easier because I was a teacher, because I already had all the connections, and obviously I wasn't just going solely as dancer, like one route.
A good recommendation maybe for people that are looking at it is that you came to LA for a chunk of time first, made some connections here because that turned out to be important later, and obviously connections in your own city because you were teaching and working and building relationships. So that's a good place to start if you're wondering where to even get started. That way, when you get to that point in the visa process, you actually have some people you can call on to help you out with those recommendation letters.
Yeah, you also have to have a chunk of work in your pocket that you've already done in your city or whatever. But it needs to be like, it can't just be a chunk of 3 months. It has to like be expanded over the course of like a year or two to show you that, one, that you're valuable, and two, that you're consistently working.
And that you're committed to like keeping like a real thing. So that's a good place to start too. Start instead of, it's really good to have dreams to come here to LA, but it's also really important to use the time wherever you are and look around and start, getting
the place.
Yeah, and it'll come in handy here too, because honestly, everybody loves LA, and this is the land of opportunity. But there's a lot of times and parts of the year where things are very dry here, and dancers really struggle. They just don't have opportunities. So having that scrappiness and being able to like create work will definitely come in handy when you get here, because it's
Yeah.
not all smooth sailing for us all the time, pandemic or not.
Yeah.
All right, so you finally get here, you get all that crap done, and then so what happens when you get to LA?
Okay, so well, I have to say this before I came to LA, because it was so rushed, and like the day I got my visa in my passport, I've moved to LA the day after.
Oh my gosh.
So I got my
Not a
visa.
moment wasted.
My visa was here, and I was like, tomorrow. So I left, and I remember like getting on, what are them things called? Not escalators, but the flat ones
Like a moving sidewalk?
in the airport. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It's like it's called
moving sidewalk, right? Yeah.
That's what you Americans call it.
Well,
There's
what do you
probably a real term, but
There's a real term, but I'm gonna call it a travelator for today.
a travelator?
I love it.
He's making
Patent that.
Or
That's
a
what it
moving
should be.
sidewalk, or whatever
Okay,
you want
so
to
you
call
get
it.
on that, and what happens?
I remember on my way to my plane, I remember calling my, like I had this wave of like, oh my God, what am I doing? I remember calling my mum and just crying and being like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't want to go. And she was like, don't be so silly, get on that bloody plane.
That's so you. You're still like that.
I know, I still like that. And then I got here, lived with a friend for a month, and then honestly, there's more paperwork when you get here. Because you have to go get through all your social security number, and you can't get a phone without that. You can't register to a bank without that. You can't rent a place without that.
Wow. So much to consider. I don't even think about all that, everything that you went through, or everybody goes through to get here. I didn't even, like, not even,
Yeah.
never
And then,
think.
of course, like to rent somewhere, you need good credit, but credit from a different country doesn't really count for anything.
Mm.
And you can't really prove your income because you just got here.
Yeah.
You know? So you kind of have to have a guarantor in terms of renting, or like a
Like
private
somebody
landlord.
who's sign for you or something.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness gracious. That's madness. So I know once you got here, you continued on your teaching path. You kind of got picked up and scooped up and started teaching, and your classes were popular like immediately. I feel like I met you almost immediately after you moved out here.
Yeah, I was subbing at Millennium. I think I moved on the 13th of November, and I was subbing like a couple of weeks before Christmas, 4 weeks later.
Wow.
But that was a plan of why I did it. So I did move out here because obviously I've been to LA before, so I know the deal on when teachers are here and not. And
Smart.
I moved in November on purpose because I knew all the other teachers, because no one's from here, would disappear in December for Christmas. And I was like, that's my shot to sub, because everyone's going to go home to family and they're going to have not many teachers around.
That's really, really smart. But I mean, definitely something to think about, guys. This is definitely an atypical story. A lot of people do not just move here within a month, start teaching at studios like this. Like Hamilton said, he was teaching from a young age in London, but also he's just a very talented teacher. So he got put on sub, he got that shot, and then he ran with it. And people were responsive to his class and to his teaching technique because he's so good at what he does. So that's really important. If you want to get here and you want to get that shot, you have to be prepared for that shot when it actually arrives. A lot of people don't think about that. You just think about getting the opportunity, but you didn't do the prep work. You know what I mean? So
I did hustle like crazy though.
Yeah.
Like when I got here, I remember being in Millennium and every day taking class and also being like, hey, do you need a sub tomorrow? Every day. Until the point that Jin, the manager, was like, you can sub if you leave me alone and stop asking me.
That is so Jen.
That is so Jin. She was like, if you
got
stop
away with that
asking me,
because
leave me
you're
alone.
British. Because that little accent is cute.
Yeah.
She was like, if you leave me alone and stop annoying me, you can sub. So that's what happened.
So what would you say are the main differences like between dancers in London and in LA, or like the dance community in London versus LA?
Um, I have to rewind and remember that I obviously haven't taught there consistently in 6 years.
Right.
And obviously when I go in and visit home, of course, my class is like, the energy is amazing because I'm only there once a year,
Right.
so people are more hype. But I think in terms of LA, I think that energy is better in LA in terms of, like people be clapping and cheering and shouting for each other here. And I don't feel like it's like that too much in London. But again, I'm talking about 6 years ago.
Right. Yeah. You haven't been there
So it's
consistently.
probably different now.
Is there more opportunity here? Is that a true fact?
For me, as a teacher and choreographer, yes. There's obviously more work here, and there is a lot of work in London out of any other country.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
in terms of dance, probably London is a close second,
Yeah.
other than the States.
Yeah.
But sidetracked, I have no clue where we are now.
No, I'm just asking. You were just telling me about the differences, like not only between the way the dancers train, but also just about the dance community, like in general. Like,
Yeah.
they're kind of similar in that you need to kind of have connections there to get in the door.
Yeah,
Or
I think so. I think
yeah,
that, like, I will say there is more opportunity here, but obviously with the more opportunity comes a mass amount of more dancers
and more competition.
and more competition. Yeah. So
It's kind of like a trade-off. You're like, yes, interesting. So when you got here to LA and you started teaching, you also started adopting what has become now a traditional, um, format class, which is learn a combo, and then film that combo at the end. That class video gets uploaded to YouTube, and that's kind of blown up as like a standard class structure for classes out here in LA, and now all over the world. I think people are modeling their classes over that format. So,
yeah.
what made you start doing that, and why did you think that would be beneficial?
um, I've actually always filmed, and I've always followed the same format as 10 years ago. Do you want to hear my format?
Yes.
So regardless of how many times I teach a week, 2, 3 times, 4 times, but currently 4 times a week in LA, I devote like the first classes. So I teach the same combo all week to start with. I devote like them first classes to training and, training, basically purely training, and everyone being present in the room and really learning. I also don't allow anyone to have their phones out and record anytime in them classes. And I use my Friday class as the performance class where people can film and where I film also. And the reason I do that is, one, so people stay present and don't get caught up in like having to film everything. And 2, most people have already took it at least once that week. So now it's not about the training, it's about trying to learn how to perform it or whatever. People will come 3 times and be like, okay, first I'm going to get the steps, get the bass. Second, I'm going to work on my textures and stuff like that. And then on the third one, I'm going to perform it as I would on camera. So I feel like my last class of the week is more so performance and camera training class.
Yeah, so that's something. I'm still a student of Hamilton. For anybody that doesn't know, I take his class pretty regularly. You can find me in a lot of his class videos. And that's something that I really appreciate. And I actually do the same thing because I think it's very effective. Because I do think that there are some pros to and you always have the option. If you don't want to take a class more than once, you can just hop into his Friday class and challenge yourself that way to learn and film same day. But you
I
also
will say though, anyone who takes my class, if they don't come before filming day, they're always like, hell no, I'm not stepping on filming day because I can't do this in a one take.
I know. I've done it, I think, twice ever. And I've been taking his class for like 6 years. I've done it twice where I've come on Friday, learned the combo, and then filmed it. And
And
I
it's
was
an anxiety attack. Yeah.
it's great training, and it's definitely something that advanced dancers should put themselves through to like really up their training because it's very difficult. But it's nice to also have the option of taking the combination once before where there's no cameras in the room, nobody's camera. You're not going to be in the background of somebody's video looking crazy. You know, you can just feel kind of safe in the room and experiment and push your body and look crazy. You can be in your sweats, and it's a
Yeah.
nice, quiet, isolated space. So
And like 95% of my students say that they need my combo more than once, which is good because that's what I create my combos for. The fact that you don't just step in, it's easy, and then we go home. Yes, it's supposed to be fun, but it's also supposed to train you and be a challenge and stuff like that, you know?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that.
definitely.
So when you did start uploading class videos to YouTube, you obviously saw a huge response. People are loving your videos. Artists are responding to your videos. Did you expect that at all when you started like posting the videos, or were you like, wow, this is different?
Not really. I can't remember who my first post was from, who posted me first. I want to say maybe Megan Trainor.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say that. She loves you.
Yeah, I was about to say that too.
I love her too. She always supports, actually.
Yeah,
And someone else, maybe Chris Brown's posted at some point.
yeah. So like, how did that make you feel that people were from all over the world started watching these class videos and loving them and subscribing to your channel? Were you like, okay, this is something I want to keep doing for that reason, or were you just like, who cares?
Nah, I guess. No, I obviously was like, well, I should like keep up the consistency of uploading, but I would never say I do it for that reason.
Mm-hmm. So what is the reason that you keep posting the videos?
I mean, just to be able to share with people. But I obviously do it for the reason for other people to see, but I don't do it for the reason of getting like
Attention and views.
5 billion views and stuff like that. I also, so it's more of a memory in terms like I could never keep all these videos on my laptop, you know,
Yeah.
like I would have like 10 hard drives like stacked up in the corner of my room by now. It's like, it's good to see progression.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's also good for the dancers to see progression.
I agree. Yeah, I think the camera is an important tool for the students to learn with too. You know, so
Yeah, there's a camera on every job.
every job, every audition, you know, a lot of the last rounds of auditions for anybody who doesn't audition yet, it goes to tape. You don't actually get told whether you made it or not. At the end, you could go out and dance in front of a camera, and then they go back and watch that footage and select
Yeah,
who's going to book the job. So it's actually a very relevant.
yeah, performance training at the end of the day.
Yeah, it really is. So, would you say you're especially thankful for like social media, maybe even in terms of what's happening now, or not even so? Like, are you grateful for what that's done for your career and
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think it's enhanced my career and gave me more opportunities. In fact, the America's Got Talent job that I did was because the other creative choreographer saw a video of mine online and then he brought it to their attention in a meeting for next week's show, and that's how I ended up with that job.
wow? And you also choreographed for Todrick Hall and his
Yeah,
tour,
because
which
of social media as well, because
you
he'd
guys
seen my
linked their
stuff.
social media. So we're hearing that so much, you know, we're doing these interviews every week and we're hearing it so much that people putting their work out there onto that platform, not necessarily expecting these things to happen, but you just sharing your work and hoping that it reaches someone that it impacts.
I would never say put your work out there with the expectation to get something, ever.
Or do anything with that intention, probably.
Right.
Yeah. No.
But if you just do it because you really want to share it and you just, you know, you love the community, and I think that really goes to show, you know, we've talked about how we've been uploading tutorials for a long time, and you know, we've always wanted to reach dancers globally, but now we see that sometimes you don't even realize the ways that it can have an impact later on.
Yeah.
You know, things
Totally. Especially now.
Yeah, you just do things because you love it and because you're connected with it, and then somehow things get stirred in the pot, and if you're, in the right place at the right time, they come out on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, on YouTube, it's like, so obviously because I teach the same, what's the word I'm looking for?
Combo?
No,
Format?
I have the same format every week, and therefore I upload at the same time every week on a Sunday. So you won't believe, like, if I miss a Sunday, all hell breaks loose on you. People are like, "Where is the video? Where is the video?" If it gets to Monday and there's no video, so it shows that people like consistency and want to see that,
Yeah, I think that honestly, everyone's whole gauge for entertainment has shifted. And I think that's a really cool thing about social media. You used to wait for your favorite celebrity to come on TV at a certain time. And now you wait for your, for a dancer that you love to upload their video. And that becomes super important to you. And I think it's cool because it's super relatable. Like,
yeah,
you can look at those dancers in that class video, and that could be you in a couple of weeks or months. It's not, super unattainable. So I think it's a very cool way to inspire and drive people that are maybe on the cusp of wanting to move or take the trip or, give it a try. Maybe people even here in LA that are too scared to show up.
Yeah.
Each one of these videos maybe pushes them closer to seeing like how accessible it really is and how it's always a good time to take the risk. So I think it's super important. So before we finish, I'm told Danielle has a game for us.
Oh no.
I do. Okay, so since you guys are already friends, I thought this would be a fun little friend game and see how much you actually know about each other.
This is going to go poorly. I didn't know any of the things that Hamilton said in this interview, honestly. I know him better than anyone, I think. I didn't know any of that. I swear, I missed the TBR days.
I
feel like we just don't care enough.
We don't talk about that stuff. We're always so involved in what's going on right now.
Yeah, it makes sense. It'll also be good though because this is just interesting. Like I want to know your answers to both of these, so we'll find out.
For you before this starts, how do your nails look like that?
What, mine? Are you kidding?
Like home manicures?
No, are you kidding? I need to get them filled in. Like I almost broke off one yesterday, and I was like, I don't have the time for there to be like, I don't know. I don't know. Thanks. I try. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, we're ready.
No.
Right. So you have to answer about the other person, okay? Got it? Right. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Is there like, do we need to like say it after 3 or what's?
We'll have Hamilton go first and then Dane will answer.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll do it the other way. So like you say it and then since we don't have like pieces of paper, we're not in.
Here we go.
Okay.
Round.
All right. Favorite food. What's Dana's, Hamilton?
Pizza.
Yes. That's right.
Vegan pizza.
Yeah. Yes, vegan pizza now. Hamilton's favorite food? I've only ever seen him eat a Caesar salad.
Is that it?
Or bangers and mash.
Honestly, I do love a Caesar salad. But I don't think I really have a favorite. So I would probably say British bacon, if anything.
Interesting.
British bacon? What?
Yeah, not American bacon, British bacon.
Okay.
So bacon.
I got it. I'm logging that in the.
Okay. Hamilton, what is Dana's biggest fear?
Oh God. I would say like.
Like she's not afraid of anything. That's how I feel.
No, she's not.
That's it. That's
I would
it.
probably say, if anything, being stuck in this quarantine with like 20 annoying people in the house. Or just 20 humans in general.
I do like my alone time. Yes. But yeah, I really don't have any like major fears, like things that like bug me. Which I think is why we're good friends, because we're a bit yin and yang there on that one. Tammy, I don't know your biggest fear. You're a little anxiety ball. For those who don't know Hamilton, he's a cute little stressy bear. He gets like his little stressy ball about certain things that he's like, I don't like that. But I don't know about what's your biggest fear.
I would honestly say you are right, and my biggest fear is like my own anxiety.
Yeah, like you're just like gonna get in your own way kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But you're not scared of anything else like heights or anything, right?
No.
No. Alrighty, so we kind of know each other then. We're
Yeah,
doing okay.
that was good. That was like one, at least like 1.5.
One each.
Okay, this is another lighter one. Hamilton, would Dana rather live at the beach or in the mountains?
I would say at the beach just for sunbathing, but I would say in the mountains just because she's far away from everyone.
Yeah, I would pick in the mountains. I think you would pick in the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. There you go. You guys know each other pretty well.
She would need the mountains with some array of sunshine that hits.
Yeah, some sunshine, like a little lake.
Like on the balcony. Yeah.
A balcony on a lake, and we are good to go. I'm never coming down.
No one else. Don't need anything. Okay. Hamilton, who is Dana's biggest dance inspiration?
I can't really say me because that's a bit conceited.
I was actually thinking you when she said that. Because, like, honestly, you're one of the only people I still train with consistently and dance with consistently. So, and honestly, to be perfectly honest, you guys didn't know, before I started teaching alone when I was just assisting Matt and I was just a student, before I was like really a teacher here in LA, Hamilton was one of the like loudest, like fans that I had. He would like come to every class, and after I came before, he'd be like, "You are so good. You're such a good dancer." And like, he's not really like that. So I like really took that to heart, and it definitely like, you know, motivated me to keep training and stuff, because he's always been like a big, you know.
I also think our inspirations like change all the time for us.
Definitely. Your biggest dance inspiration? I have no idea.
We can just be each other's if you want. That's okay.
That's cute. Aww.
Do you have one though? I don't even like. Is there someone that you really look up to in the dance community? I don't know that about you.
Not, but it like differs depending on month to month.
Yeah, it's like not like we're not inspired by anybody. It's just that we can't think of anyone that's like
of the favorite, you know?
Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's move on. They're all so good. Let's see. Hamilton, what is Dana's favorite musical artist?
No clue.
Probably J-Lo, just as like an overall entertainer. She's probably my favorite.
Who?
J-Lo. I also love Sierra.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
and
that.
Laura Hill. And I don't have favorites of things. I'm more of like I like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Tammy's favorite artist, Meghan Trainor.
She's one of my faves.
Makes sense.
Lady Gaga.
No, I actually do have a favorite.
Okay, who?
It's Nicki Minaj.
Really?
Yeah. You don't notice I do every single.
You love Nicki.
Every time.
Wow. Yeah, I thought you just like those songs. I didn't know you were like a Nicki fan. Very cute.
Yeah. Okay, you might have already touched on this, but I just want to see if you guys know exactly the moment you met. So Hamilton, do you remember the first moment you guys met?
When I stepped into Millennium and you were there with Matt and I just finished teaching at the old Millennium. And my mother was visiting for Christmas, actually. And you were sitting on the bench about to teach after me, I think. And my mum was sitting next to Matt, but you didn't know it was my mum at the time, or me. I think.
And we said hi. Did we talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We said hi. Just hi.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say outside Millennium, like in the back of Millennium. But I don't know when that was. That must have been like
2013, December.
Good thing we're not a couple, Hamilton. This game probably would have broken us up.
Yeah.
You're like, you don't know that?
All right, last question here for Hammy. Make it a good one.
Okay, let's see. What is Dana's favorite place to travel and teach?
I know, obviously, a bit more less specific. I would say Europe.
Yes, true. That is my favorites. My favorite.
Travel, I think to travel and teach is different. Travel, I know she loves Paris, and we've been there many times together, so I feel like that has to be one of her favorites. To teach,
I like teaching in Paris as well. I think Paris and Peru are my two like travel and teach locations, like the MC and the dancers, and I love teaching everywhere, but those two because I love the city as well. I love the energy in Peru when I teach there and stuff. So those two are probably my favorite. Is Paris your favorite as well? I was gonna say Paris for you.
Yeah.
Cute. Fun.
Well, thank you so much, Hammy, for jumping on today and chatting with us.
Of course.
You gave really good insight into, what people need to do to do this. Look at you sitting are you in a split?
Yeah, kinda. I did yoga today and a workout.
Oh, so you're flexible, you're ready.
Stretching out.
Ready to go. But I know that, like I said, honestly, one of the questions I hear more than anything is, what do I do? How do I move to LA? How do I get started? So thank you for, giving some answers to that and hopefully shedding some light and giving some hope to people out there. You guys can do it too.
Of course.
As Mr. Hamilton Evans. Tell them where to find you and follow you.
Mr. Hamilton Evans on everything, I think. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everything. TikTok now.
Yes.
Yes, TikTok.
Danielle, where can they find you?
Danielle Rose 143 on Instagram.
And you can find me at Dana Alexa _ on Instagram, at Dana Alexa Dance on YouTube, and Dana Alexa _ on TikTok now. Love you guys. See y'all next week with a new episode of The Dance Influence. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.